So I apologise in advance for butchering most of the place names. I have decided I want to learn how to pronounce all of them properly before I set off in May. Um, Part of the reason that I'm struggling with them is because I'm actually from Wales, and so I keep on reading them as if they're a Welsh word, and then trying to stop myself from saying it as if it's a Welsh word. And then it ends up coming out as neither and just sounding like something, I don't know, it's like some Klingon. But anyway, so this route starts off in Dornie, overlooking Eilean Donan Castle, and then starts off by heading up Loch Long, and then following the River Glennon up to Bailach a Glianan, and then down to Camasluny on the other side. Then follows the Glen all the way up to Loch Trich, and then I'll be spending the night camped beside Iron Lodge. So the next morning, it's up to Loch and then round the bottom of Loch Mulladoch, and then making our way up Glen-allt-Shiel, and then up and over the Bailach qua Gadael, and then into Glen Affric, where I join the Affric Kintail Way, or because I'm going the other way, Kintail Affric Way. And then I'll be spending the night by the side of Loch Affric. So the next day I continue along the Kintail Affric Way, and I'm really excited to see a lot of the Caledonian pine forest. I'll be following this all the way into Cannich. And I've booked a camping bod in Cannich campsite, and just a chance to dry things out and charge electronics if it's been a rough first 2 or 3 days. So the next day is continuing along on the Kintail Affric Way, mostly through forestry tracks from what I understand, and it's going to be gradually making away, sort of broadly following the River Enlich into Drumnadrochit. And it's at this point that I should start to be able to see Loch Ness. So the next morning it's round to Temple Beer to get Gordon Menzies ferry across Loch Ness, and it should drop me off at Inverfarraig. And then from here it's up past Altnagor through Erogi and following some minor roads up to Aberarder House, and then that's where we start to reach the foot of the monolith. And so it's up and over the tops with a little bit of pathless peat hag hopping, and then down, all the way down into Glen Mazeran. And I've managed to find on Geograph what looks to be a stunning spot by the side of the river to spend the night. So next morning we across the River Findhorn, and then up to Carndub Dior. Promise I will learn that one properly. With panoramic views if it's clear. And then it'll be down all the way to the River Delnain. We across it, and then following the Braemar Road all the way into Aviemore. And I've booked a night at the Premier Inn again, just so that I can dry everything off, charge electronics, get a takeaway if it's been a rough couple of days. So the next day is a bit of a plod, exploring the Rothimerchus estate, so going around Loch and Eilean. And I'm excited just to see more of the Caledonian pine forest, which is why I'm taking a bit of a 12-mile ramble over what would normally be about 5 or 6 miles as the crow flies. And it'll take me around the south side of Loch Morlich, and then I'll be camping at the Glenmore campsite. So the next day is a high day. It starts by going up to the ski centre and then heading up onto the Cairngorm Plateau, and then from there going over to Ben Macdui, so I think that's the second highest mountain in Scotland. And from there, it's then down to Loch Etchachan, and then down into Glen Derry, and then be walking all the way down to camp somewhere near Derry Lodge. I've got my eye on this spot just here. So the next morning's a bit of a detour into Braemar. It goes via Clashfernegg and then over Coichwater. Then it follows the glacial meltwater channels down towards Invercold, and then crossing the Invercold Bridge and walking in the opposite direction to most challenges you come this way, as they're heading towards Ballater. I'll be going over Lion's Face into Braemar. So from Braemar, crossing the river, heading south, and then crossing back over at Ochallata, and making way through Glencallata up to Lochallata Lodge. And then from here, I'll be heading up onto the tops and making my way round to Loch Nagar. Having bagged Loch Nagar, we'll be going down to Loch Mick and camping next to Glas-allt-Shiel. And from this street view image, I'm really excited about this pitch. This is probably the one that I'm looking forward to the most. So the next day, it's heading up and over Corrie Hash, and then down into the top end of Glenclover and Moolsey. And the rest of the day is a long day walking the length of Glenclover, so I'll make a point of stopping at the Glenclover Hotel for a pint and some food. And then that evening, I'll be camping sort of nearby Gella Bridge. So the penultimate day is going to be a day of lane walking. I've tried to keep it as interesting as is possible. So it's going to be crossing over to Bogside and then passing through Hornihow and then passing the Denevogel Reservoir. My route does then take me past a horse and donkey rescue centre, so I'm going to call in there for a coffee and to say hello to them all. And from there, it's really just following the lanes all the way into Brechin. And then the final day is some more lane walking. It takes me around Kinnaird Park. I will write to them and see if they'll give me access to walk through it to make it a bit more interesting. And then it's down around Fithy Wood and heading towards the coast at Redcastle, which is just on the southern end of Lunan Bay. Which is quite nice because it turns this route into a castle to castle walk as well.